never forget him till the day I die. He's the one who said hit her once so she won't remember. The younger one just grabbed the package from under my arm and ran.
Any more of those threatening phone calls?
At lunch today at my office.
Today?
At your office? You think I ought to be afraid of them, don't you? Well, I'm not. I've stood up to a lot more frightening things in my life than a pair of cheap hoodlums with guns.
It's nice you feel that way, Mrs. Hart, but apparently they know where you live and where you work. Frightened men with guns can do stupid and terrible things, Mrs. Hart.
Mrs. Hart, have you got an extra bed in your house?
An extra bed?
Mm-hmm. Policewoman Jones here is going to stay with you from now on, 24 hours a day.
Manhattan is built vertically, so that the maximum number of people can work in the smallest possible square space. Across the river is Brooklyn, built horizontally, so that along with Mrs. Hart, 2,764,000 people can live in the smallest possible square space.
Yes?
I'm Miss Jones.
What about it?
Well, I'm expected.
Who expects you?
Who? Is Mrs. Hart your mother?
What about her?
Well, didn't she tell you about me when she came home tonight?
Oh, Miss Jones. Norma, this is Miss Jones. This is my daughter.
Where would you like me to put my things?
Oh, it's not a very big room, I'm afraid. It's right at the head of the stairs. What's she here for? She's a policewoman, Norma. Those phone calls, the police insisted upon giving us protection.
When are you going to stop lying? You're interested in only one thing, protecting the man you work for.
Or whatever you do for him. Norma. Stranger in the house.
Oh, didn't you tell the police about your Mr. Miller?
Oh. Stop it.
Then what other reason have you got for bringing police into the house? Putting us all in danger when all you have to do is drop the charges.
Do you expect me to drop charges against a couple of hoodlums? Besides, nothing's going to happen to us.
Oh, a minute ago you said we didn't need protection. You see how you lie?
You twist every word I say, every word.
What am I twisting? That my father died heartbroken. And you're working for the man who robbed him.
Employs me because he's a very kind man. No kind man would do what he did to my brother. My brother built that business. Kathy, please go back into the kitchen.
Oh, you can always scare Aunt Katie, can't you?
Norma, would you just go into your room? I feel quite tired. I think we could all rest a little bit.
Someday, I'll meet a man like him. But I won't hound him to death because he loves a little fun.
I'm sorry I was present, Mrs. Hart. I guess all families have their quarrels.
But my employer is a very happily married man. Children always find it hard to believe that their fathers aren't quite what...
Suddenly I knew I'd been present at one battle in a long, long war. I had to tell myself I was on a job, and the only war I could allow myself to get involved in was the war against crime. Specifically against a pair of hoodlums. One known, and the other still a zero.
How about a cigarette, sir? Excuse me, honey. are you doing here? Cops. My boarding house. You call that dame again. You tell her she don't call the cops off. We're going to put one right through her head. Slow down. You're getting hysterical. Call that dame again. And put it to her good. They picked me up. And she talks, so help me. I'll squeal.
Hello.
Who's this?
Norma Hart.
Oh?
Who's this?
Listen close. Tell your mother to drop her charges and we won't fool around with her anymore, understand?
Sure, I understand. As far as I'm concerned, she deserves it.
Who are you?
Her daughter. What's the matter? Have I shocked you?
I thought I knew dames, but you take the cake.
Are you the young one?
Yeah.
She told the police you were kind of handsome. Young and handsome. Are you?
That's me, all right. Young, handsome, and lots more.
Oh, you got a nice laugh. I like men who can laugh when they're in trouble.
You know something? You sound cute, too.
Oh, I think so. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm considered quite good looking. I mean, that's what the boys tell me. What are you going to do about it? Hello, hello. Are you there?
Now, listen to me, honey. I gotta see you.
No. Why should I?
Now, listen, baby. You're different. I don't know what it is, but you're different. I gotta see you.
What if you're disappointed?
Could be. Maybe you're a dog with a nice voice. That's it. You're just a dog with a nice line on the phone, and you're scared to show yourself. That's it, ain't it?
Try me, honey.
All right, I will. Now, look. I'll show you how much I gotta see you. Cops all over town looking for me, I'll show you how much you could mean to me. Now, you listen. You come to Artie's candy store. You call her. It's in the phone book. You ask for me, Harold. You name it, I'll be there. Now, prove you're not a dog.
It gets a little crowded with somebody else living in the house, doesn't it?
Go ahead. Look at it. Look at it good. She did it to me. She couldn't handle a baby any more than she could handle a husband. She crippled me and she killed him. No! Norma! Charlotte.
I'll help the police all I can. But next time, please stay out of our personal affairs.
I'm trying to, Mrs. Hart. Believe me.
She was born that way. Her foot. Children sometimes blame their mothers for things like that.
Why do you feel guilty about it?
Guilty?
Well, that's how you act. I know it's none of my business, but she seems such an attractive, bright girl. She's not a baby anymore.
You don't understand her.
I get a feeling that you're letting her stew around in a hothouse away from life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, if you'd help her find a job, meet some people, get her mind off of
You
things.
saw her foot.
What about it? It's hardly noticeable except to somebody who sits around and broods about it. Just as one woman to another, Mrs. Hart, I don't think you're doing a favor by helping her hide herself.
I'm doing nothing of the sort.
Well, you act in front of her as if it's all your fault. You're only making her feel that she has a right to do anything she wants to you.
What do you know about raising children, Miss Jones?
Mrs. Hart, I may not know about raising them, but I think I can recognize when they're heading for real trouble.
What do you want with me?
I wanted to see you in person.
She's your mother.
You even look a little like him.
Who?
Why did you do it?
I like a good time, Norma. She had 30 grand in industrial diamonds. They're not worth much, but they're easy to get rid of. I like a good time.
So do I.
But I'm in trouble.
I'll get you out of it.
It's your mother?
I'll take care of her.
What do you want me to do?
Marry.
While I sat through the night with the despairing mother whose daughter had disappeared, the main job drew closer to a conclusion. The hoodlum who had been picked up spent an hour in jail and gave us the name we wanted. Harold Farley. Well, she's been missing about 6 hours. Yeah. What time is it now? Uh-huh. Well, I think you better notify the FBI. 115 pounds, 28, 5'6". Birth injury to left foot. Wearing built-up shoe covering ankle. Suspected kidnapping. It could be Harold Farley. Yeah, that's right. Bye.
It's all my fault. It's my fault.
Mrs. Hart, you did the best you knew how.
Huh? Norma! Mother? Norma? Mother, we've just been married. This is Harold Farley.
This was Farley's round. Mrs. Hart would never testify against her son-in-law. And without Mrs. Hart to testify against them, the district attorney could not have a prima facie case, and two hoodlums would now walk around, free as the air.
What are you doing, honey?
Floating.
Huh?
Hmm.
Without a magic carpet?
You ought to know.
Show me.
I'm too lazy to move. Unemployed husbands have a lot of advantages, don't you?
That's what my father used to say.
You've been doing that from the first.
Doing what?
Everything I do, everything I say, comparing me to that rummy.
Don't call him that.
He died drunk, didn't he?
Wouldn't you if you were married to a cold fish? You haven't found me cold, have you?
Look, honey, all I meant was I like to be me. Me, that's all.
That's good enough for me.
Hello?
Hey, listen. I got a setup. A dilly. It's easy as pie. Wow, you there?
Go on.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing. Go on.
No, I ain't so sure.
Spit it out.
I don't know. I mean, ever since you got married...
Look, any place you say, any time. Me, myself. That's who's running who.
That's the old boy. Now, look, you meet me here at the Sharon at 5. Okay?
Check. Now, look, cut the mush. I gotta go out.
Where?
I'm running out of dough.
I've got a little.
Look, it's gotta be mine. Mine.
Why don't you give up trying to solve it through her?
Well, she wouldn't talk on the phone, but I think I found a way. She'll be here.
I've heard it before.
Here I am, Miss Jones. What is it you wanted?
Won't you sit down, Mrs. Hart?
Just get to the point, Miss Jones.
Well, the district attorney is very anxious to talk to you. If you'll just let me call him.
That was a cheap trick telling me that my daughter is in danger. I can't be forced to see the district attorney.
Mrs. Hart, we honestly believe we're protecting your daughter's life.
Thank you. But I have to solve that problem. Yes, Catherine? What is it?
They had a fight.
Don't want to hear about it.
First they made love. Then he shouted at her about money. After
I
that...
told you I don't want to hear about it. Made her happy so far. That's all that matters to me.
Are you sure he'll show up? Are you kidding? Somebody calls him from a fancy hotel? All right, lay it out slow. Now, I asked him to bring the stuff up at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. At 5 minutes to 8, we're standing in a 14th floor corridor for Mr. Hoffman and the little black satchel. What about the floor matron? They got a floor matron on every one of those floors. What about her? Well, I thought about it. Yeah? Yeah. I thought if a smart dame made a call from the outside at 5 minutes to 8. Just one call. See, I happen to know the name of the party in suite 1435, and I thought if the dame said something like, I just talked to my sister in suite 1435. Stop her, she's going to jump. Well, that matron would be off like a flash right down the corridor. A smart dame. One call, 5 minutes to 8. How much does Hoffman usually carry? What I hear, 60, 70 grand worth. All right, call Hoffman at 2. Look, it's 2:30. By now, Anderson's called Hoffman. Yes or no? What's the matter? Have I shocked you?
Yes?
I like a good time. Anything you do is fine with me. I know how to treat a guy like you. My mother never did.
If you ever make fun of me again...
Now, listen, you. Now, for a while, you had me hypnotized, but never again.
Oh, don't break it up, Al. We're good for each other. Don't break it up.
If you believe that, then you do what I say. You make that call, 5 to 8.
I can't. It means becoming a criminal. I can't.
All right, stay with your mother. Stay and rot. We'll see if you get another guy like me. Well, I gotta know.
All right. I think my sister, 1430.
That's my baby.
Saved you some supper. Should I warm it up for you?
I'm not hungry. I have to be alone.
Just for a few minutes. I'll leave you before... Norma, I've wanted only one thing for you. And that is for you to be happy. But nobody can be happy with someone they're afraid of.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was afraid. I was afraid of your father.
You?
And now you're afraid of your husband. Norma, you don't love him. You did it just to get even with me because you think that I killed your father and crippled you.
I said I have to be alone.
Norma, you're going to turn yourself into a criminal.
You know.
Yes, but I'm not going to interfere.
He's alive. He's happy. He's good for me. The kind of man my father was. I'll succeed where you failed.
The kind of man your father was. You want to know?
Why don't you let me alone?
You really want to know the kind of man your father was? He was alive and happy, and he was the cruelest man that ever lived.
Right!
And he died because he drank himself to death. Himself, his share of the business, and all of my love. All of it went in the grave.
You never loved him.
What do you know about love? Farley, that's hate. That's hate for me.
No.
Don't you know who crippled you? Who really crippled
Oh,
you?
don't say.
He did.
Please.
He was 6 months old and he was drunk. He didn't mean to. He threw you up in the air. He meant it for fun. For fun. We tried. The doctors did their best. We tried.
I don't believe it. I won't believe a word.
You want to know what real love is? I loved him so much that I didn't want his child to grow up hating her father. I thought it was easier to lie. After all, if a child is born a cripple, it can't blame anyone. Could it? That's what I thought.
Oh, Mama. Oh, Mama.
It was the wrong kind of love, Norma. It was all based on lies. Norma, I didn't do it to you. There's nothing to get revenge for.
I'm going to kill you for letting me down. That matron called the house, Dick. We were caught in a trap. I'm going to kill you. I'm hurt, baby. I'm hurt.
Give me the police.
Evidence. Real. Tangible. Nobody could back out of testifying this time.
Let me have it, Casey. Oh, it's your turn in court in a few minutes.
Court time. End of the line time. A job. I think an important one. Even if it means watch yourself. Stay clear. Let people work out their own lives. But I don't think I'll ever be able to pass another pair of starched curtains without wondering what's happening behind them.